welcome back to Tom Extra Spin. I'm of course Gemma, and I want to ask you a question. What would you do if your friend came up to you and said to you, I'm really struggling, everything's getting on top of me, the house is just absolute chaos, I've got to-do lists everywhere, and I just feel like I can't keep up. If they were a friend, even if they weren't a friend, it was just someone that came to you and asked for you to help, what would you say? What would you say to them? I bet you, because I know that you're a nice person, you would not say to them, well, do you know what? You probably should have tried harder. Or something along the lines of, what's wrong with you? It's your own fault. You would never in a million years say that to them. Instead, what you would probably do is you would sit with them, you would listen to them, you'd reassure them, you'd tell them that they were doing an amazing job, and it's perfectly normal from time to time to feel like everything is getting on top of you, especially at this time of year. Your brain's all over the place, your to-do list is all over the place, everything is really busy, and that they're in no way failing. They are, in actual fact, just being human. So why is it then that if we replace that friend with ourselves, and you are thinking to yourself, it's first thing in the morning, you've not even had your first sip of coffee yet, and you're already feeling like the day's running away with you and you're failing, how come we don't offer ourselves that same amount of empathy? We are brutal, absolutely savage with ourselves. So very often that we don't even realize how brutal we are being because we are just so completely used to it. And then we get stuck in this spiral of talking down to ourselves, berating ourselves all the time. And it can have a really negative impact on our self-esteem, our self-confidence, and just our general mood and our well-being, and certainly our mental health. So I think it's time, and I include myself in this, especially at this time of year, that we start noticing how we talk to ourselves, and we start thinking how that voice and how that savage, brutal voice that can sometimes show up as, what that does to our brains, and can we be kinder to ourselves? And the thought of being kinder to ourselves, and we talk about it all the time here at Tom, can sometimes feel like a really abstract thing. I can't put a finger on it. What does this mean? What does being kinder to myself mean? So I think it's a really nice place to start, especially when your to-do list is probably as long as your arm right now as Christmas is approaching, to start talking to yourself, or noticing, maybe start really small right at the beginning, noticing how you are talking to yourself. And once you start noticing, you get in the habit of catching yourself at that moment before you become really brutal and really savage. And then maybe you can change that to give yourself that compassion and that empathy that you would give to a friend or a family member. Meeting someone exactly where they are in that moment and moving with them with just compassion, empathy, and support. Imagine bringing that same energy to yourself and to your domestic life. A daily grind that you have to go through just to keep your home running, and like things ticking over, like getting the washing done, getting the kids fed, picking someone up from school, taking them to football practice, all of the stuff that you have to do. So it's about supporting yourself through all of that chaos with grace, with patience, with understanding, and without resorting to that brutal, savage inner critic voice that we very often default to. Recognizing what about your situation in your house or whatever it is making you feel overwhelmed right now, and working with yourself to help yourself navigate through it without looking at other things like Instagram or social media or your mate that seemingly has it all together and comparing yourself to that, because obviously Instagram and all that stuff isn't real life, and your mate isn't living your life either. So it's all about being in your own brain, being compassionate with your circumstances and yourself, and giving yourself the space to work through the thing that is overwhelming you right now. Because if you are being really supportive to your mates, you're on your WhatsApp chat and going to see your mate for coffee, and you're like, you're having a bad time at the moment, and I'm going to go around and help do this, I might make lasagna, but you're not giving yourself the same compassion, that's just a massive double standard, isn't it? And we are very often, a lot of us are really guilty of that double standard, of not showing ourselves, the one person who is with you from the start of your life all the way to the end, ourselves, the same compassion as you would show your mate, or maybe a mum at school that you only met 2 weeks ago. It's really uncomfortable. You're holding yourself to this higher standard that is just making your life harder. And if you catch yourself sort of saying to yourself, why haven't I done the laundry? Why haven't I done the cleaning today? Everybody else seems to manage it. What is it about me? All of that adds up, and it can make you feel really crappy about yourself. It's not helping you in any way in that moment. Now imagine if your best friend spoke to you like that. You sort of said to them, do you know what? Oh, God, I didn't get the laundry done. What is wrong with you? She'd say, what is wrong with you? Why can't you do that? You'd be like, go away. Why are you talking to me like that, cheeky self? You'd get angry. You wouldn't like it. You'd probably think of them less of a friend. Why are they treating me like this? But yet we treat ourselves like that, and we just think of it as just normal. And do you know why I think it is? I think it's because when I first started my Instagram, there was this very much culture, especially amongst women, of the harder I work, the better I am thing. So you'd have a lot of pictures of people stood on a train station with a coffee cup, just drop the kids off to work. And it was like I think people call it toxic productivity, don't they? Where you are just displaying outward productivity because in a way you feel like it makes you more worthy of praise in a way. Look at me, look how busy I am, aren't I doing amazing? When actually you might be completely burning yourself out. So we can get stuck in this little loop, and we can trick ourselves into thinking, if I'm productive, if I can keep up with everything that I see on my feed, then I'm going to be doing great. And I spoke about this on my Instagram and my TikTok yesterday. Your feed is not your to-do list, right? Your feed doesn't represent a bullet point list of everything you should be doing. So Cassandra might have put up a tree today. Melanie might have decorated her hallway. So-and-so might be decluttering. So all of these things, as you're scrolling through, you can be easily lulled into this feeling like, I should be doing this. Why aren't I doing this? I'm not good enough. Why am I so lazy? And all of a sudden you're talking to yourself like that again. And you're like, I need to be productive. I'm feeling rubbish, and I need to be more productive to help myself feel less rubbish. And that is this really bad trap to get into, because you're never going to catch up. You're never going to keep up. There's always going to be more things that you're seeing, more things that you can be doing, because housework is never done. So there will always be something else to do. And I see this all the time in my job. I run my own business. There is always something else to do. I have to put boundaries on it. And that is why I think Tom is so useful for putting boundaries on housework. I have done enough today. I've done my Tom 30 in the bedrooms. That is enough. It's not going to take the rest of my Tuesday. I need to go on and do some other things. And we love reframing stuff here. I love reframing things. And a reframe here can be really powerful. So let's just walk through it. So if you're in the habit of talking really bad to yourself and being stuck on this treadmill of thinking I need to be more productive to work my way out of this overwhelm, and I'm just going to keep giving myself tough love, like super strict personal trainer, and it will work. This will be what works, right? So imagine this with me. You walk into your house. You've had a busy day at work. The dishes are still in the sink from breakfast. There's laundry on the kitchen island. Maybe there's kids' toys all over the sofa, and your brain immediately goes to, I'm so lazy, I'm disgusting, what is wrong with me? Why can't I keep my house in order? I feel like I'm failing at one of the most basic things. Now pause. If your sister or your friend phoned you and said exactly that to you, what would you say to them? They say to you, my house is a mess, I feel like I'm failing. You'd probably say something like, well, you've had a really full-on week, you've been working, the kids haven't been very well, or you've been trying to make that costume for the nativity, you've had to work overtime, maybe your partner's away with work, you've barely had a moment to breathe, you've had to cancel all of your fun stuff, like all your exercise classes, because you feel like you're juggling loads of things. The house isn't perfect right now. That is a symptom of how busy you are, not a reflection of who you are as a person. And also, it's kind of a good thing, because it means that you are being human and you have been prioritizing all of those other things that I have just listed above the house, because there's more to life than housework. And I think that's the voice we all need to remind ourselves that we need to hear in our own heads. What's really important to understand here is that this is all a learned skill. This is not something that some people are born with. It's like a muscle that you need to exercise and you need to flex, you need to practice. You need to catch yourself in that moment where you're being really nasty and a bit mean to yourself and say, whoa, hold on a minute. We're not doing this, because that is in no way helpful. It's just going to make you feel worse. It's going to make you feel more overwhelmed, and it's going to make me feel more stressed. It's better to put my energy into being a little bit compassionate, working out what I can do with the time and energy that I have that is going to help me feel better, and not just tell myself off, because that's not going to help anyone. And that is definitely a skill, working with that, knowing when to catch it, and just practicing turning it around. It is not going to change overnight. And one thing that I like to do is give that little critical voice a name. Name it and be like, do you know what, Barbara? That is not helpful right now. How is that helping me? And just turn it around. Maybe don't say it out loud to yourself in Tesco's, but helps to personify that feeling so that you can compartmentalize it. And if it helps you to turn it around, then name it, give it a little nickname. And at first it is going to feel a little bit clunky and it's going to feel forced, because you're practicing something new and you're forming a new pathway. But if you catch yourself in that moment and you're like, oh, there's Barbara again. She's being completely unhelpful. She's telling me how I've only done 1 load of laundry today and I probably should have done 5 to empty the laundry basket. What would I tell my friend in this situation? Put Barbara to one side. She's just not helpful. She's being dramatic. What would I tell my friend if they were in this situation? And tell yourself that. It will feel weird. You'll be like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. But try it. It can work absolute wonders. And we are so good at supporting other people. Just try and take a little bit of that energy and support yourself. And especially at this time of year, it is more important than ever. If you are scrolling through your feeds, if you're watching the TV adverts, if you're comparing yourself to people, and everything that is coming at you, all of that input is starting to feel like a to-do list, and Barbara's going off on one on your shoulder. Oh, you've not ordered that yet. Why haven't you done that? See, they're doing this. Do you know what, Barbara? Do one. Right? Because you're really starting to get on my nerves. You're either helping or you're out, and she's not helping, so she's out. Start practicing that now. And as we are going through the end of the year, hopefully the more you practice it, the better you will be, and it'll become more intuitive and more instinctive in January. And it's just something to practice. And it's a really lovely skill to have. Because I don't want you going through your life sort of telling yourself off for things that you don't really need to be telling yourself off for. You know, getting behind with the housework, falling behind on something isn't a moral failing. It is because you are busy and you're doing the best you can with the time and energy that you have. And that is always enough, because you can't concoct more time. You can try and concoct more energy, but you will be taking it away from somewhere else, and you will eventually burn yourself out. So be brave enough to treat yourself with the energy that you would treat someone else with the compassion and the kindness. And if you are looking at your to-do list today and you're looking at your housework and it's as long as you're on, think to yourself, what do I have the time and energy realistically do today? What are the priorities? And know that you can absolutely stop there. And Barbara can just shut up. Because there is more to life than housework and the endless to-do lists and all of that stuff that comes with running a home at this time of year. You are allowed to live that life, but you can't fully live it if you are constantly at war with yourself. And I think that is why Tom is so powerful, because it helped. I built Tom during that time when I had Mega Barbara on my shoulder, where she was just telling me that I wasn't good enough. I had to be a better wife. I had to be a better mom. My house wasn't good enough. And I was feeling I was putting myself under so much pressure. It was exhausting. So I built Tom at that time when I needed it the most. And it helped me to put a practical system and scaffold in place that helped me give myself that compassion and that kindness that I needed. Now, as I said, this is a work in progress for me. It takes practice, and sometimes I can find myself slipping back into those habits of being mean to myself, and Barbara's shown up again. So our self-critic will always be around, but it's about learning when to catch it and when to say, do you know what, I have done enough today. If you've never tried Tom before and you are sort of getting to that point with housework where you are constantly chasing your tail, you feel continuously overwhelmed, and that Barbara in your brain is telling you that you've not done enough, even though you literally haven't stopped, then give Tom a go. You can try it for free for 7 days. It just helps to put a full stop on the cleaning so it doesn't balloon into the rest of your day. It doesn't take over all of your days and all of your mindset and your mental load. Go to the App Store, search for the Organised Method, and just start there. Start somewhere. And like most things, these positive effects can just have a little knock on into the rest of your life. And try being kinder to yourself. You never know, you might actually like it.